Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's virtual community circle. We're going to do a little meditating. I'm going to explore any questions that might be coming up on the part of anyone in our community here, anyone who's participating live, and also those of you who are tuning in through the replay. I want to welcome everyone who's tuning in on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. It's an honor to be with you in this way. Our theme, and in addition to Q&A, we're also going to dive in a little bit. We're going to go into a deeper transmission. And if this is your first time here, I should probably explain a little bit about what that is. Transmission is really an opportunity to sink into a deeper experience of the divine by whatever name within. It's one of the ways, transmission is one of the ways that I refer to the way that the divine expresses through me, the unique gifts that God expresses through me. And if you're new, you may be wondering, well, what the heck does that mean? And the best way to explain it isn't to use words, but to invite you to have the experience for yourself and see what unfolds, and then share in the comments. A few people already checking in, or I guess Judy is checking in from Iowa. Great to see you, Judy. Thanks for saying hi. For anyone else who would like to say hi and be recognized during the live transmission, during the live stream here, the key is to do so in the comments. On YouTube, they're over here. They're to the side. On Facebook, they're down here. And if you're on my professional page or on my YouTube channel, I'll see those comments coming through. Of course, it also happens on Twitter as well. Our theme for this week is surrender and silence. And what can you say following that? Well, I'll probably have lots of things to say here in a few minutes. Julie checking in, blessings to you. Thank you, Julie, for being here. I'll probably have lots of things to say. And of course, I'm always interested to see what's coming up, what's top of mind in your awareness and your experience and so on. Before we do anything else, Angelica checking in. Hello, Angelica. Great to see you as well. Before we do anything else, let's gather in our circle, shall we? Setting everything else aside energetically, emotionally, physically too. And one of the things that's really important, this may be obvious since I'm on a visual platform here, but you might be just listening to the sound of my voice. It's really important not to be doing anything else, especially please don't operate a motor vehicle or a heavy equipment of any sort during this time together, or really any time we're together. There's something that happens. Lots of people think they're going to sleep. I think of it as falling out. Whatever you're doing, whatever's actually going on there, it's not safe to try to do something else, especially not if you're driving a vehicle or riding a bike or operating heavy equipment. So just give yourself the gift of your own experience of divine presence within and set all the rest of it aside. And with your eyes closed, if it's comfortable for you, breathing in and out through the nostrils, if that's comfortable, and also if it's comfortable to have your palms towards the sky, let's sink in a little bit and become more aware of what is unfolding in that interior space. And we'll do a little bit of breathing to begin, and we'll do some meditation with divine connecting breath. We'll open into a conversation, and then we'll go into silence. We'll drop deeper into transmission. If you're new, you'll know that transmission begins when I say, let's begin, which I didn't just say for the sake of the transmission. And what you may discover, as many others have, is that if you come back to this circle, if you come back to this experience, you may actually feel that resonance, that physical sensation of the divine within sort of amping up in the minutes or hours ahead of when we get together each week. And that would be perfectly normal and natural if that happened for you. And if it doesn't, no big deal. I had somebody email in over the last week who said, oh, I just discovered you once again on YouTube or Facebook or something, and it felt like coming home. It's such an honor to come home with you. I don't really think we're coming home to me. I think we're all coming home to the experience of the divine by whatever name. Our circle here is full of people from lots of different spiritual perspectives and other perspectives as well. It's not about holding a singular perspective on spirituality or the divine or even a singular name, many, many different names. A few weeks ago, I was going to use this as an example, and the details have slipped my mind. Anyway, I'll let it go. Examples aren't important now. Let's do a little bit of breathing, shall we? Deep breath in and hold. And as you begin releasing this breath now, letting go of everything that has come before in this day, all the way out to the count of 8. And when you've let your breath go all the way, just allow your breathing to return to normal, whatever that is for you. And we'll pick up with another breath as a circle here in just a moment. Another deep breath in and hold. And as you begin releasing this breath now, letting go of everything that has come before since the start of this year, all the way out to the count of 8. And with it, I invite you to begin releasing the thoughts and the feelings and the manner of being that have been dominant and expressing through you of late. It could be today, the last couple of months, the last years or decades, or your entire life. Whatever you'd like to let go of is perfect. And another deep breath in and hold. And as you begin releasing this breath now, letting go of everything that has come before since you were born, all the way back to your birth, letting go all the way out to the count of 8. Thoughts, feeling, and being. Over the years, I've had people raise their hand or write in comments during sessions I'm facilitating, and they'll say, "Why are we letting go of everything? I don't want to let go of everything. I like who I am." Or these really amazing things are happening to me, but these other things that aren't so great, I don't want to let go of the good stuff. I want to let go of the bad stuff. The reason for that is that when we let go of everything, we open up to a more complete experience and expression of divinity. It's like becoming a blank slate or a hollow and empty vessel through which the divine expresses itself, through which the divine animates, through which also It's because I have the line muted. Oh my goodness. Oh, I always say the sound doesn't matter. I am. I'll tell you what's extraordinary is that all of you have stayed on the line. I'm assuming you can hear me now. I'm going to make a comment. Looks very passionate. No dogs allowed says he looks like he's being very passionate. Oh, this is the best divine joke ever. I'm at 9 years plus 1 day. I remember on the 1st of July, 2011, I got on the phone with somebody who just signed up yesterday or today to be a subscriber on this YouTube channel. Rosie, I was so excited to see your name. I know you're out there somewhere. Oh my goodness. This is so funny. So 9 years ago, on the 30th of June 2011, I surrendered completely. And I just get to practice it every week, every day, every moment of every day. And today I'm letting go of control, including the control that would have me saying something that you can actually hear. Oh, I was so caught up in being with the experience. How perfect. Oh my goodness. I was going to do some drawings for you, but I have to say, what could be a better illustration of the value of surrender than what I have embodied today? Well, I wonder. It's a great experiment. Were you aware of the point when we began? Could you feel things starting to change and open up within your body? Did you have a different sensation beginning to unfold? It'd be an interesting thing to explore. Julie is saying, wow, deep dive. Catherine is saying, definitely. Awesome. It's so fun that you all are still there. Oh, it's great. Oh, I think that is absolutely hilarious. It's 2 weeks in a row. Last week I had some audio issues where there was a computerized thing going on with a delay. Oh my goodness. So the theme today, which maybe you didn't even hear, is surrender and silence. Oh my goodness. What an honor to be with you, Angelica, saying everything's working fine. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. At least I think it's funny. I hope you do too. Oh my goodness. uh, Sherry is saying, haha, it's labeled surrender and silence. So I was beginning to think it was an exercise in surrender. Well, isn't life an exercise in surrender? It wasn't an intentional exercise. My soul had other ideas here. The grand trick to mute the line. Oh my goodness. What a beautiful thing. Oh. You know, when we do this, there's this process that we go through in life, right? I am going to share a screen for a minute. Let's see if I can make this happen. We go through life and we have these experiences. Let's see. I can move my keyboard here. Let's see if you can see this. Oh, I think you can. And some of the things that are going on are thinking. Some of the things, if we draw a picture of a heart, are happening at the level of feeling. And some of the things are going on, and I'm just drawing an arrow out from the hips at the level of being. Silence is really difficult here in thought, right? There's a tension between it, right? If silence is over here, there's this tension between these two. How can I be in silence and still be thinking? And that same tension exists in feeling, because when we get quiet, when we move into silence, feelings can begin to flood through in the same way that thoughts can begin to flood through. And what I want to suggest to you is that underneath the thoughts, underneath the feeling, is being. And of course, there are different ways of being. We could be being in an agitated state, as in, hey, your line is muted, we can't hear anything. Or you could be in a state of amusement, as in, haha, I can't hear you. And you name this episode Surrender and Silence. And we could also be in a state of embodiment. And what I mean by that is soul embodiment. That is to say, the divine essence, the individuated expression, is coming down from interacting in thoughts to interacting in feelings, all the way into this being state, down into our hips. And when we get into this place, something profoundly different begins to take place. And what's really interesting is as we move in this way in our bodies, there's also a letting go of control that starts to happen. It's a natural byproduct of embodiment, actually. As we move down from the head, we have to let go of control, the control of thinking. And as we move into the heart, we're now maybe more identified in the feelings. But then as we move down into the hips, we begin to transition from a strong identification with feeling into a state of being, which can be a little bit like going into a black hole. Oh my goodness, I'm not thinking and I'm not feeling anymore. What's happening? I don't mean it literally that you're not thinking or feeling. Things can come up in that space. It's not that you're just completely in a space of void, although that can happen. And it does happen eventually. It's that the feelings and the thoughts that are subordinated, that is made secondary or made tertiary to the being state, take on a different quality. They take on different characteristics, and something quite extraordinary begins taking place. And when that is undertaken concurrent with an experience of silence, something really amazing begins to take place. And it's difficult to put into words exactly. We could call it a sense of freedom or peace or liberation. And we can have little bite-sized experiences of it, and we can also begin to open up our lives more fully to that experience. And it can expand. It can become an extraordinary liberation that opens up on so many different levels. Yeah, Clint is saying the resonance is always there. It's just stronger when we connect in transmission. I think that's right, Clint. The resonance being that experience of the divine within you. I think the reason that happens is because that the divine expression through me enlivens that in you. It's not actually that I'm sending something to you. It's that we sink into this level, into this being level. I'll just share the screen again so you can see. We sink down here into this being level. And this is what's enlivened when we're in transmission together. And it's not that the heart and the head aren't included in it. It's that they become secondary rather than the primary process. One of the things that really tickles me about muting my line today is that it takes away the possibility of being engaged. I mean, it's not happening anymore because I unmuted the line. But if you can't hear what I'm saying, it takes away the possibility of being distracted by the words or the meaning of the words that I'm using, the meaning that you assign to them. And that is what a beautiful freedom. It's the same freedom that I wrote about earlier today in my From My Heart email to the community. If you're not getting emails from me, You can register. It's free to put yourself on the email list. You can go to kenwstone.com/newsletter and just put your name and email address in there. But what I said in that was that on this 9th anniversary of surrender, I thought I'd have lots of words to share, and I really don't. And the other thing I said is that there comes a time in these weekly community circles where I drop language and we get to move into silence. And it's a great relief. And it's not to knock the experience of our interactions through the chat. I love connecting. If you've been here before, you know this to be true. If we've shared time together in private session, you know this to be true. If we've been on retreat together in person, you know this to be true. I love connecting to people. I love celebrating the divine expression, the enlivenment, the personality, the perspective. All those things are so exciting. I love exploring those things with words. More than anything else, what I love is the experience of sitting in deep resonance. I love that by myself. I love just doing that by myself. And I love doing it with you. I love sitting in silence with you in transmission. That is to say, in that experience of the internal resonance that bubbles up from that being place. So often in the world that we live in today, there's an answer to everything. We think about it. Here's a challenge. How am I going to interact with this? Here's a challenge, or here's an opportunity. What's the best way to do this? Or how do I feel about this? Or is this connecting me more to my purpose? And I have to think about my purpose. And what does connection mean? And what's the meaningful connection that I'm going to experience right now? And on and on and on. There are all these thoughts, all these perspectives. Or we can just sink in to who we are. And you might be saying, well, okay, Ken, but what is that? Who am I? Well, from my perspective, you're an undistorted expression and extension of the divine. What does that mean? Great question. Just let it unfold. We'll do it together here in a minute on a deeper level. Okay, I don't see any other comments coming up. You survived the muting of the mic line at the beginning. You've stayed here. It's wonderful to be with you. I want to, I'll acknowledge anyone else who wants to check in before we wrap up for today. I don't see any other questions or comments coming in. Oh, let's abandon language. But this time I'll leave the mic open. Who knows how I muted that before? Doesn't matter. Divinely perfect, I'm sure. Take a deep breath in and hold. And as you begin releasing this breath, just let go of whatever has been creeping in to thoughts and feelings, and maybe even a little of the being. And as you release all those things, open up into the silence, into the interior experience of that encounter with the divine by whatever name, from whatever perspective, whatever tradition, whatever resonates with you. It's perfect. I don't have to redefine it. I don't need to put my interpretation on it. I don't even want to put my interpretation on it. I just want to allow what is already happening here, the enlivenment of that. Allowing it's too strong a word. I want to be in that experience with you if you'd like to join me in it. And since you're here, I'm going to assume the answer is yep, I'd like to join you in that, Ken. Glad you're here, whether you're participating live or through the replay. It's such an honor to go exploring with you, to uncover, to open more fully. Not because we held an intention, not because we knew what that meant. In the releasing of what we think it means, we can just open up to the experience. We can be with whatever is coming up, whatever it is. And if what comes up is noisy, is an experience of dissonance, just feel, allow it to express. There's an alchemy that's available, this polarity between that dissonance that's being expressed and the embodied divine within. There's a transmuting dynamic that can take place there. And if what's opening up is a deeper experience of resonance, beautiful. And if you're sitting as we go into silence and wondering, what happens next? Great question. I don't know. Probably a breath, which might be something valuable or helpful or supportive to follow if the noise becomes too strong. Breathing in, we receive. Breathing out, we surrender. The breath is becoming you, and you are becoming the breath. The divine is becoming you, and you are becoming the divine. You couldn't hear me say it earlier, but one of the things I said is that the words that I'm sharing do not matter. And now you've had an experience of that. So here in the absence of words, if the mind kicks up, just remind it, with each breath, you are connected to everyone and everything, the divine, the light, the twin frequencies connecting into each of the smallest aspects of you on every level known and unknown. The divine is becoming you, and you are becoming the divine. Hmm. Hmm. There's a huge wave of resonance moving through. Again, if you feel it, that's wonderful. If you don't, it's wonderful too. You can't get this wrong. Just remember, if there is anything coming up, noise at the level of thinking. And just to keep it simple, let's say noise at the level of thinking are about projections into the future or memories from the past. They're coming up in your thinking. You can just remind yourself gently with each breath, you are connected. Everyone, everything, the divine, the light, each of the smallest aspects. The divine is becoming you, and you are becoming the divine. And noise at the level of feeling may persist, could be emotional or physical dissonance. That's what I mean by noise. And the most extraordinary gift you can give yourself is to allow yourself to express fully whatever's coming up, even if it doesn't make any sense at all. Grief, release it. Tears, cry them. Anger, rage, yell it, express it. Laughter, giggles, emptiness, nothing. And not to some end. Just be with it fully, and then if it fades, release it and be with whatever is unfolding. There's a lot of stuff coming up to integrate in our time together today. We can talk more about that if anyone has any questions before we wrap up. If you find yourself running into the same idea or thought or feeling, consider following the breath for just a bit. When you were born, the first thing that you did, or one of the first things, was to draw in a deep breath and receive. And at the end of your life, one of the last things you'll do is breathe out. After you breathe out your final time, your separate self will have no choice but to let go of control. The only question is, will you surrender at that time? Or will you surrender before then? As we continue and open into a deeper experience in silence, you can ride the wave of your breath, receiving anew when you breathe in, and surrendering completely when you breathe out. Complete surrender has no attachments, no attempts to cause or control or do anything. So surrendering as you exhale has no purpose but to let go fully. Just as inhaling has no purpose but to receive fully. So much coming up for integration. If there's discomfort in the head, it's just the outward expression of that inward process of integration, which may relate to the mind or the head or other parts of the being and nothing to do with thinking. Just continue to be in whatever way is unfolding. The integration will take place. Every part of your expression, your thoughts, your feeling, and your being are perfectly balanced and designed to express as one. And it's okay if that's not happening right now. It will. You don't have to do anything, and I'm not going to do anything. It will just happen. In fact, if you try to hold an intention, it'll just mess it up. We're sitting in a space below intention. Here, intentions just serve to remove experiences of resonance rather than enhance them. When we get to the level of being and even deeper into the level of existence, intention just reverses course. It takes us to a more shallow place, a place where thoughts and feelings are more important than being or the existence underneath from which being comes into form and expresses. Hmm. Beautiful. A few points of reflection that I'll just give voice to here as we start moving towards the conclusion of our time together today. Joseph comments, for me, your voice works as a leading line in helping me to eliminate other distractions. That's wonderful, Joseph. Thank you for sharing. And Julie says, Julie M., the wonder of where two or more are gathered. Amazing. Masharda checked in, and Yanya over in Switzerland checking in. Glad you're both here. Glad everyone is here. If you'd like to say hi and check in, if there are any final comments or reflections you'd like to give voice to or share, just invite you to do so. More and more, I'm focusing on broadcasting on YouTube. And so there's a lot of information on the YouTube description already that might be meaningful or useful to you. If you're on another platform, you can get to the YouTube channel really easily. There's a link, a shortened link in the description, which you can click. And when you click that link, you'll subscribe to my YouTube channel. And then you'll find in this video, and you can hit the notify or bell to be notified, of course. And in this video, you'll notice there's a description of some different opportunities to explore at a deeper level if that resonates with you. And you'll also then be notified next week when we come together and go exploring and sit and resonate together, and any other time that I happen to show up and do a live stream or post a video. Most importantly, I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here, for including this experience in your day, for bringing your presence into this circle, for the privilege and honor of sitting with you and resonating and exploring with and without words. When you're ready, and not before, I invite you to begin returning the universal plug. I'll do the same as I begin bringing this transmission to a close. Silence and surrender today with the muting of my microphone at the beginning and for some time, as if to reinforce the lack of importance of whatever words I was uttering during that time, which you could not hear. And the clear invitation in the absence of words to turn inward to the interior experience, to that place where you most profoundly and completely encounter and experience the divine. Plug all the way in. Transmission to a close now. If you haven't already, if this video has resonated with you, I invite you to give it a thumbs up or a like or whatever the appropriate way to refer to that is. And in the same way, if you haven't subscribed already to my YouTube channel, please do so. There's a little logo down here. No, it's over here. It's in this corner on YouTube only. And if you click that, that'll lead to the subscription. I've already said there's a bit.ly link in the description on all platforms. Invite you to subscribe there. If you're not currently receiving email, you can, from me, you can sign up for the newsletter at kenwstone.com/newsletter. Most importantly, way more important than all of that, thank you so much for the opportunity to sit and explore and resonate and be with you today on this 1st of July, 2020. What an honor it is to walk with you. Catherine, thank you. Carolyn, this was like being wrapped in a soft baby blanket on the inside. Phenomenal, Carolyn. Thank you for your comments, for being here. Look forward to being back with you again very soon. Peace. Bye for now.